Hi, I'm Jason McIntosh and welcome to the final day in this training series. We've covered a lot of ground over the last few days. I've told you about some of the greatest traders you've probably never heard of, and you've seen some unique analysis showing the shortcomings of some popular trading strategies. I've shown you a stack of examples from my own portfolio, and most importantly, you now have a step-by-step playbook to trade like some of the world's best traders. In short, if you want high potential trade ideas and you want to know when to buy and how to maximize your gains and how to minimize your risks and when you should sell your trades, then you're in the right workshop. You know, I've been trading markets for over 3 decades, and since 2000, I've been helping traders of all levels of experience. I've also been alerting them to some of the most exciting stocks on the ASX, and I've been taking them through those trades on a step-by-step basis. I think it's fair to say that I've helped thousands of people over the years. People maybe just like you. I've taught them how they could maximize their profits and minimize their losses, all by following a straightforward process that I've been telling you about. A formula you could make your very own. I was fortunate to learn this early in my trading career, and it's been instrumental in helping me make millions of dollars from the markets. More importantly, it's also helped many of the people I've taught over the years to make better trading decisions. And that's what I love about this business. No one's born an expert trader. You don't need a fancy qualification or be employed by a Wall Street bank. All you need is a bit of capital and the right people to learn from. The people who've been there themselves. People who've had the struggles and come out the other side. That's what it was like when I was starting out. I was exactly where you are right now. But I was lucky. I was lucky to find excellent mentors early on, and they made all the difference. They put me on the right path early in my career, and I haven't looked back. Many of the best traders start out the same way. I sometimes wonder where I'd be if I didn't have access to the right people early on. Maybe I would have eventually found my way. You know, persistence and trial and error can work miracles, but at best my progress would have been much slower, and there would have been a big chance that I would have crashed out like many aspiring traders. So that's what these videos are all about. They're about offering you the chance to follow the approach that I use to build a career, an approach that some of the world's best traders use to make millions. You just need to decide if you're ready. Are you ready to step up and make this approach your own? Are you ready to identify more high potential opportunities? Are you ready to avoid the stocks that ruin many people's portfolios? Are you ready to let your winning trades run and potentially make big double and triple digit gains? And are you ready to work towards a lifestyle and freedom this formula could potentially deliver? Since you're watching this video, I know your answer is yes. You want the freedom and lifestyle that successful trading could bring. You want to trade with consistency. You want to trade with a plan, and you want help to identify stocks with potential to be game changers. And I believe all of that's achievable. And that's what my Motion Trader service is all about. It's about giving you the confidence and skill to trade profitably on your own. And it's also about identifying high potential ASX stocks and giving you step-by-step instructions on how to trade them. If that sounds like your calling, then stay with me. I think you're going to like what I have for you. But first, I'm about to tell you about the final part of the formula. And remember, this is a part that brings it all together. This is the key to making it all work. The key that many traders never find. If you can put this final rule to work, I believe you'll be ready to lift your game to the next level. Okay, before I reveal Rule 5, I've got a question for you. Could you buy your own baseball team? That's right, baseball team. And I'm not talking any old team. I'm talking about one of the most famous of them all, the legendary Boston Red Sox. Now, at $660 million, a major league purchase, well, it probably isn't on your shopping list. The closest many of us could hope for would be to manage or coach the local junior team. But a big price tag didn't stop a guy called John Henry. And in 2002, he bought the Red Sox. John's also the principal owner of the Liverpool Football Club and a NASCAR race team. So who is John Henry? Well, apart from being a sports fan, he's also one of the best traders of our time. You see, John's a self-made billionaire. Forbes lists his wealth at $2.6 billion. And like Harry Height, who I told you about 2 days ago, John wasn't a standout student. In fact, he's a college dropout who once had a passion for playing guitar and rock bands. But you know, fate stepped in. His father's death gave him control of the family soybean farm. This was his catalyst for learning about soybean futures, which later extended to commodities in general. Now, as you might remember, my big break was learning about trends, and I was lucky to stumble across this path early in my career. Now, it turns out John had the same good fortune. One of his early trades was a play in soybean futures. He had a hunch that the prices would rise, and they did, soaring from $7 to $13 a bushel. It was a hugely profitable trade. What happened next would shape his career. Despite believing prices would rise further, he sold his position near the high. His reason? Well, it had nothing to do with soybeans, but it worked. The price soon crashed to $4. Now, this near disaster was his prompt to find a better way, and for the next several years, John researched trading strategies. He never wanted to rely on hunches or luck again. And the result? Well, it was a system to trade the futures market. His approach was pure trend following. Human emotions and discretion, they didn't get a look in. John established a hedge fund in 1981, and the firm began accepting retail money the following year. It was hugely successful for close to 3 decades. Now, like all great traders, there's a lot you can learn from John Henry, but there's one thing I'm going to focus on today. It involves one of the biggest reasons traders fail. Have a read of this. I found avoiding volatility really inhibits the ability to stay with the longer-term trend. The desire to have close stops to preserve open trade equity has tremendous costs over decades. In other words, if you set a close stop loss, you're probably going to miss out on a lot of profit. I've been telling you about selling strategy over the past 2 videos. The secret to making big profits is to resist the urge to take small profits. You need to let your winners run. So many people understand this in principle. The hard part is putting it into practice. A problem I often see is people being too protective of their profits. Yes, they want to let their winning trades run, but they don't want to give any profit back. Their solution is to sell as soon as the price dips. But as John says, a close exit stop makes it difficult to stay with the trend, and it could also cost you a lot of money in missed profits. Today I'm going to show you the danger of holding on to profits too tightly. You'll also see why most traders will never make enough money to buy their own baseball team. Now, you remember that in the last video, I've told you about the importance of resisting a modest profit. Sure, a quick fire gain of 20 or 30% may be appealing, but giving into this temptation caps the trade's potential. The prospect of getting a big double or triple digit win drops to zero. Just think about it. You can't make 100% if you're always selling for 20%. Many of the best traders avoid this pitfall by not setting profit targets. Instead, they let winning trades run until the trend appears to be over. And this keeps them in the best trades for longer, and it helps them maximize return from the biggest trends. Here's an example. You remember this graph from last week's video? It shows a stock from my own portfolio, online travel business Webjet. A key part of this trade was resisting a 20% gain in the first 6 weeks. Only then was it possible to ride the trend and make a lot of money. I finally sold my shares when the price fell back and hit my trailing stop. Now, let me ask you this. Was resisting an early gain all I had to do? Now, not by a long stretch. You see, I also had to give the shares room to move. That's how I was able to ride the trend for so long. Without giving the shares some breathing space, the trend may have ended on the first minor pullback. I'll explain what I mean with a new example. Have a look at this. This is another stock from my portfolio, Kidman Resources. And as you can see, it was a solid performer. My gain from this trade was 199%. Even better, the stock did all this in just 1 year. Now here's the thing. Yes, I've let my profits run. I didn't give in to an early temptation. But I've also given the shares room to move. This has been the key to riding the trend. Look closely at the trailing stop. That's the red line below the share price. This is the trade's exit point. It's often at least 25% below the share price. Now, some people ask why I risk getting back so much profit. They'll point out that my exit level is well below the market. In their eyes, this is just unnecessary. The suggestion these people make is to use a tighter trailing stop. This would allow winning trades to run while also protecting more of the profit. Now, this all sounds good in theory, but there's a flaw. You see, setting a closer trailing stop creates a new problem. It increases the odds of the stock hitting its exit point sooner, and this could really affect your ability to stay in the trade. I'll show you what I mean. Suppose I set the trailing stop at 10%. This means the selling point would be just 10% below the most recent high. What do you think would happen? Okay, have a look at this. The result is a series of short-lived trades. On each occasion, the shares hit the trailing stop quickly. It only takes a relatively small dip in the share price to trigger an exit. This makes it impossible to stay with the trend. So why do people use a tight trailing stop like 10%? Well, there's a simple explanation. A lot of traders try to hang on to every dollar of profit. They just don't want to risk giving anything back when the market turns. And this is a mistake in my view. You see, just about every trend zigs and zags its way higher. This is why you need to give a stock room to move. Bringing your stop in too close increases the odds of an early exit. The best traders can make hundreds of percent from stocks like Kidman. It's their ability to maximize profits from these trades that sets them apart. It's how they make fortunes. And there's no reason at all why you can't do the same. The key is to give your trades room to move. That's how you ride the big trends. Okay, now I think you're going to like what's coming up now. It's actually pretty special. I'm going to take the 5 rules we've been talking about, and I'm going to tie them together in a way you probably haven't seen before. What do I mean? Well, stay tuned. I'm about to tell you. So that's rule 5. Give your trades room to move. I bet if you stop and think about it, you can imagine doing this yourself. Imagine cashing in multiple triple-digit gains like Kidman each year. Imagine looking at the ASX top performers over the last 12 months and saying, I had that one, and that one, and that one. Imagine what that could do for you. Imagine what that could do for your family. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's all possible. I know this because I started out with no experience and no strategy, but with the right guidance, I've been able to build a career out of the markets. A career that gives me the freedom to set my own course and a lifestyle and income that I could once have only dreamt of. And it all comes down to the 5 rules. Trade with the trend, have many relatively small trades, cut losses early, be slow to take profits, and give your winners room to move. These strategies are nothing new. The best traders have been using variations of the same winning tactics for decades. There's no reason at all you can't follow the same formula. But in the meantime, I'd love to hear more about your trading journey. What would learning the right strategies mean to you? Scroll down and leave me a comment and maybe hit the like button. But importantly, leave a comment for me. I read every one of them and I respond to many, and I'd really love to hear from you. So that's all for now. I'm Jason McIntosh, and I'll see you soon.